After the Beast Wars, a pact was forged. The shapeshifters would rule the world every century. A human and a shifter would marry. The first to bear a half-breed child would determine the next ruler. Last time around, I chose to marry the wolf clan's eldest son, notorious for his devotion, and beat everyone to the punch. By birthing a white-wolf hybrid, our kid became the next big cheese in the human-shifter alliance, and my husband Blake naturally snagged immense power. My sister Bethany, however, blinded by the Fox clan's pretty faces, married their eldest son only to find him a total player. She caught a nasty disease and lost her ability to have kids. Jealousy festered in Bethany's heart, and she set me and my baby wolf on fire, roasted us alive. I woke up and it was the day of the big marriage pact all over again. Bethany was already climbing into Blake's bed. I knew she remembered everything too, but what Bethany didn't know was that Blake was a savage at heart, a real power-hungry animal. Scarlett, Blake and I are truly in love. Can't you just let us be happy? We've already sealed the deal. If I don't marry Blake, who else would want me? I heard Bethany's fake sobs like nails on a chalkboard. My dad chimed in, always on her side. Scarlett, maybe you could find another fiancé. Bethany just got carried away, made a mistake. Dad always played favorites with Bethany. I was the bastard child he had on the side, while Bethany was the legitimate daughter. I glanced at Bethany kneeling on the floor. Tears streamed down her face, a mask of feigned distress, but her eyes blazed with ambition and excitement. I knew it. She remembered everything too, and she'd made her move first. Last time I'd chosen Blake, the wolf clan's heir. Snakes were cold-blooded jerks, foxes were horny bastards, and dragons were stuck-up pricks. Wolves were loyal, devoted. The best bet. 6 months after marrying Blake, I popped out a half-wolf, whom we named Talon. Being the first hybrid born, Talon was crowned the next ruler of the alliance. Bethany, lusting after the Fox clan's looks, went after their eldest son, only to find him screwing everything that moved. She ended up catching some disease, becoming barren, and was shunned by the Fox clan, but she blamed me for her misery, jealous of my good fortune, and slipped me a Mickey, then burned Talon and me to a crisp. A surge of hatred boiled inside me. I wanted to rip Bethany's throat out for what she did to Talon. My fists clenched in my sleeves, the pain in my palms grounding me. I nodded, putting on a knowing face. If you and Blake are so smitten with each other, I wouldn't dream of standing in your way. Bethany didn't expect me to cave so easily. The tears she'd squeezed out hung awkwardly on her cheeks. Bethany, get up. Thank your sister for being so understanding. Dad breathed a sigh of relief. Thank you, Scarlett. Bethany bounced up and skipped off to tell Blake the good news. She's gone boy crazy. Dad chuckled, then caught my cold stare and stammered, Scarlett, the only eligible shifter bachelors left are Xavier from the Snake clan and Lance from the Fox clan. I think the Fox clan isn't bad, whether it's appearance or status, it must be much higher than the Snake clan. And Bethany said before I cut him off, Dad, I'll marry Xavier from the Snake clan. Humans always saw snakes as cold-blooded monsters, prejudiced against the Snake shifter clan for millennia. No human had ever married into the Snake clan, so they'd never produced a ruler for the alliance. As a result, the Snake clan was kicked to the curb by the big 5 shifter families, reduced to the bottom of the food chain, not getting a damn thing. When I was burning alive last time, I saw a pair of emerald eyes. Xavier, he tried to save me, but the flames were too much. He couldn't do it. Dad frowned, but seeing my steel gaze, he didn't push it. He just sighed and tried to comfort me. If things get tough with the snakes, Bethany can lend a hand. But Bethany couldn't resist taunting me when she found out I'd picked the Snake clan. Scarlett, just because you couldn't snag Blake doesn't mean you have to settle for the bottom of the barrel. Snake clan, you might starve before you even pop out a kid. I hear they can barely keep their bellies full. The wolf clan is rolling in it. They bathe in potions. If things get too rough, I can pack you some leftovers. She cackled, ignoring the strange looks from the servants. In Bethany's mind, the wolf clan had all the resources, and Blake was loyal and hung, so I'd get knocked up in no time. She didn't realize that human shifter pairings were tough to conceive, and Blake was obsessed with having kids. After 6 months of nothing, Blake started taking his frustration out on me, torturing me day and night. It wasn't until I used a secret spell to get pregnant, birthed Talon, and won the wolves the right to rule that Blake finally laid off. I smiled faintly. Don't worry about me, Bethany. I picked my husband. I won't regret it. What's there to be proud of when you choose a poor devil? Scarlett, seeing I wasn't biting, Bethany threw a fit and swept the pastries off the table. I'll be the first to get pregnant. My kid will be the next ruler. I ignored her tantrum and started prepping for the wedding in 3 days. Bethany was right about one thing. The Snake clan was broke. I was afraid they couldn't even afford a dress, so I decided to get one myself. But that night, Xavier showed up himself, bearing my wedding gown. It was the first time I really took a good look at him. Pale, almost bloodless skin, slender eyes with a hint of authority, and unfathomable emerald eyes. A beauty mark at the corner of his eye added charm to his cold face. I opened the box. Inside was a floor-length, deep green gown shimmering with snake scales. I'd never seen anything so gorgeous. I was stunned. Ms. Scarlett, our clan's artisans hand-stitched this gown. The scales are blessings from our people. Xavier's gaze was deliberately distant, as if he wasn't the one about to marry me. This is the first human snake wedding. If we fall short, please let me know. Thank you. I love it. Just as I was about to put the dress away, Bethany sashayed in with Blake, a smug grin on her face. Scarlett, is that the only dress you have? Blake got me 10 dresses. Blake's eyes were full of love for Bethany. Bethany only knew that wolves were loyal, but didn't realize their loyalty was tied to biology and their obsession with offspring. If she couldn't pop out a kid, would Blake still be so sweet on her? Xavier's hand tightened on his snake staff. He looked up at me and said seriously, our clan has failed you. I promise I will never let you down. Bethany scoffed. Anyone can say pretty words. Let's see if you can even have a baby. Bethany was all about babies these days. Her inability to conceive last time was a thorn in her side, so she was fixated on getting pregnant, already camping out at Blake's place before the wedding. In a way, they were perfectly matched. When it came to breeding, focus on your own wedding. Bethany, I don't know. You're still trying to steal my man. I smiled at Bethany and Blake's sour faces and took Xavier's hand and left. Soon, Bethany was whining to Blake, muttering about pregnancy and babies. My dumb sister. She wasted another lifetime dreaming of rising to power through her son. Xavier's quiet voice broke through my thoughts. Scarlett, I know you didn't choose me willingly, but I promise I will never let you down. I turned instinctively at the voice, and I bumped into Xavier. A strange scent filled my nose. I looked up at him and said seriously, Xavier, I chose you, and call me Scarlett from now on. Don't be so distant. I saw a strange glint in Xavier's Xavier's eyes. Okay, Scarlet. 3 days later, the weddings arrived as scheduled. Both weddings were held in the same hotel. This time, the wolf wedding was bigger than before, and even invited the reclusive Phoenix clan to perform. Major families were at their wedding. The snake side was rather deserted with no extra guests, but the snake clan was excited. Marrying a pure human meant they could compete for the ruler position. I should have been sitting at the end with Xavier, but Bethany specifically asked Blake to seat me next to her. She wasn't going to pass up a chance to flaunt. She touched her belly and glanced at me provocatively. Scarlet, how come you haven't gotten pregnant after 3 months? I guess if you are not from the white family, you can't even have children. Half-breeds were special. They were born in 2 months. It was about a month. Bethany was getting chubby and her belly swelled. She didn't know that half-breeds were big, and if she didn't control her diet, she would suffer when she had a baby. Last time I tried to control my weight, but it still took a day and a night to give birth, and it hurt so much that I almost killed myself. But when I saw the baby born and sleeping in my arms, I didn't regret it. I picked up my glass and took a sip and said lightly, the shortest pregnancy in history has been a year. Sister, you only took 3 months. You are a prodigy. Bethany turned to stare at me, her eyes flashing with guilt. Scarlet, what do you mean? I tried to test and she panicked. Bethany still could not hold it. Congratulations, sister, on your childbirth. I toasted her and left with Xavier. A month later, Bethany was in labor. After 3 long days she finally gave birth, but 7 days passed and the wolves had not made the child public. Even my father was turned away when he went to the wolf clan to see Bethany there. Must be something wrong with this child. 2 weeks later, my father called me home. Seeing Xavier's worried eyes before going out, I asked him to come home with me. In the living room, Bethany sat on the floor crying with a half-beast red wolf cub in her arms.